Morgan Ortagus was the spokesperson for Mike Pompeo at the Department of State. She now has founded the Polaris Group, and she will be in New Hampshire tomorrow, and I'm going to go see her if they will send me an email where I go. Good morning, Morgan. Tell us about the event tomorrow in Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
Good morning. Well, I am already in New Hampshire. Happy to be here. So this is the first stop on the relaunch of the America the Great Tour that Polaris National Security, the policy think tank that I founded, we started this last year. We did it for a lot of Senate candidates and House candidates. Now we're in New Hampshire partnering with the New Hampshire Journal, and the first person on our stop is former Ambassador Nikki Haley. This will be tomorrow, June 28th, 2:30 p.m. at Waterfront at the Elks in Portsmouth. Doors open at 1:30. If you want to see, you can always just show up, but we do appreciate if you RSVP. You can go to americathegreattour.eventbrite.com. That's americathegreattour.eventbrite.com.
Put the Hewitts down for 4, please. I'm bringing, I think, my wonderful, beautiful granddaughter and maybe son James, who you know from the old days in the State Department. Morgan, will you be you're not actually endorsing Governor Haley, you're just introducing Governor Haley. Am I right about that?
That's right. It's an interview where we give her the chance for an hour to talk about national security, foreign policy, defense. If you're coming and you want to ask a question of Governor Haley, you will be in the audience. We will give plenty of time for audience questions as well. But yes, we hope this is the first of many presidential candidates that will meet with us in New Hampshire. You and I, Hugh, you and I both care so much about national security and what's going on in the world. I want to talk to voters and explain why all this stuff that's happening in Russia, in China, in Iran, at our border, what that means for us in our everyday lives.
All the dots connect. I want to play for you Miami Mayor Francis Suarez earlier today on this program. Let's roll that clip. Penultimate question, Mayor. Will you be talking about the Uyghurs in your campaign?
What, the what?
The Uyghurs.
What's a Uyghur?
Okay, we'll come back to that. All right, Morgan, you were at the podium when the finding of genocide was announced, were you not?
Actually, I came back. Yeah, I was. This happened on my watch, thankfully, because I came back from maternity leave specifically because I said if we're going to finally officially certify this as a genocide in Xinjiang, I wanted it to be under my name. And I got to tell you, Hugh, what matters so much about, for me, one of the things I was so grateful to Secretary Mike Pompeo for allowing me to be a voice on the Uyghur genocide is a lot of people don't know, that the mayor doesn't know. Happy to educate him. And it's okay, by the way, if you're listening and you haven't heard about it, let me explain why this matters so much. One of the ways in which the Chinese Communist Party has been so diabolical about this genocide is that they were actually forcing Uyghur women. Now, these are Muslim women. These are the Chinese Hans consider this to be an inferior race. It's really incredibly sad. But they are forcing these Uyghur women to have abortions. They're forcing sterilization, or they're forced them to marry a Chinese Han man so that they are reproducing in what the Chinese Communist Party thinks is the better race. It's really disgusting stuff. And I got to tell you, I had a baby 2 days after the election. I had a beautiful daughter. And so I was pregnant through much of 2020, and I was speaking out about this genocide. It felt so personal to me that a woman my age across the planet could be in the same pregnancy that I was in, and the government was forcing her to abort her baby because they didn't like its ethnicity or its religion. As a Jewish woman, as an American woman, I could not stand by and watch that happen.
Now, Morgan, I think the mayor may have done more for the Uyghur profile than anyone answering with a rote answer would have done. Yeah. What do you think about that? Is that a silver lining for him?
Silver lining. Listen, I already told his campaign I'm happy to brief him. And you know what? If he becomes an advocate for the Uyghur people out of his ignorance, then good.
That is exactly right. It's not. I don't think it's an ambush question either, is it?
No, not at all. If you're running for president, you have to know about a genocide and our largest competitor, largest great power competitor on the planet.
Now, I'm curious about when you talk to Ambassador Haley. By the way, does she prefer to be Ambassador Haley or Governor Haley?
You know what? Let's ask her tomorrow, Hugh. We'll find out on stage.
Are you going to ask all the candidates the same question set, which I try and do, though I mix it up over the course of many interviews?
Well, I don't know if I'll ask the same exact question, but what I do think is the same problem set for sure. I mean, we know what matters most to Americans. We know what matters most to the people here in New Hampshire. You have to start with our border, right? We talk about, and you and I talked about this a lot, our undefended southern border, our porous border that has fentanyl coming over that's killing Americans in droves. And by the way, where does all of this start? We know the chemical precursors start in China. And that's something that Secretary Blinken brought up last week, and he was there, and the Chinese told them that they would start like a working committee on it. Let me tell you what, that's the Chinese patting you on the head.
Doors open at 1:30. The event begins at 2:30. What's the address again, Morgan, for our listeners? We cover the state of New Hampshire. The Granite State is covered by the Hugh Hewitt Show. Where do people go if they want to see Ambassador Haley tomorrow?
The Elks at the waterfront. I think everybody in Portsmouth knows it there. It'll be at the Elks. We'll have lots of signs. We have plenty of room for everybody. We have lots of media coming, Hugh, so you won't be the only media personality there.
Yeah, but I'll be hiding in the back. I'm just there to observe retail politicking at its finest with Morgan Ortagus. Follow Morgan at Morgan Ortagus. By the way, you hired John Noonan. Do you know what you're doing? He's an Air Force guy.
I wasn't born yesterday. I gotta get one person from the Air Force in.
All right, John Noonan. I'm telling you. He's part of the Nixon seminar and one of our favorite people, but I'm curious about that. We'll talk next time. Morgan Ortagus, thank you.